Yo. I Malema, bro. When I think about Malema, right now I'm about to say things that I feel like people who follow my channel or watch me, they will know where I stand with about Malema. Like, I love the guy. I think he has a great potential to be a good leader. Has some mistakes and things that I also disagree with, actually, in his political position. I have so many disagreements in his political position, but yeah, man, when it comes to the case thing that Malema is having, let's just look at it. So the toy gun defense versus the reckless endangerment verdict that Malema got. So Malema claimed the assault rifle he was filmed firing at a massive 2018 rally was mere just toy gun or a stage prop. Yes. So, which was a core part of the defense strategy to say the gun that he used was a toy gun. Okay, guys, we need to be honest. That's not a toy gun. We can, if we were to argue other things, we should be arguing for Malema that he deserved a chance. He deserved not to be taken to jail. Yes, this was negligence, this was what, but he deserved those chances. We can argue that. But to say it's a toy gun and actually because maybe you support the party and whatnot, and then you have to, this talks to exactly the point I was making about Helen Ziller, whereby you have to pretend that reality as you experience it or as you see it and facts are not like facts. There's something else other than what they are, because it's actual facts, man. Like, it's so crazy to say that's a toy gun, but he had to say and do whatever he had to do, I guess, to try and defend himself, But the court rejected this claim, obviously, finding him guilty of 5 serious offenses, including unlawful possession and reckless endangerment of 20,000 people present in the stadium. Now, the only small issue that these people would have actually pursuing this, last time they did this type of thing to go for someone who is politically opposed to them, I'm talking about your Firearm, your DAs and them, those parties. Last time they did something like this, that man went to prison and he came back and became a president of South Africa. I think arresting Malema for something that is not maybe like corruption related, this is towards political relation rather than maybe corruption or him committing an actual crime that has nothing to do with politics. I think they just, they're gonna make him. I feel like taking Malema to jail will make him bigger. It will just make his character bigger. Taking Malema to prison will make him bigger. I just foresee a day where he comes out. Let's say you take Malema, you arrest him for what? 10 years, 7 years, whatever the years will be. I just see the days he comes out, you're gonna have problems. Because I think them pursuing him like this and taking him to jail for things that are political related, I think this is going, because also this is going to also almost put a stamp on his political position in regards to him being wanted, him being spoken about like that in the White House. It's gonna put a stamp on him as the one. Taking Malema to prison will put a stamp on him as the one, and it's going to put a stamp on the thing that he has been saying about the system, about him being wanted by the people who run the country, by the business people in South Africa. It will literally make true everything that he says. It will just factualize everything that he says, whether he was wrong or right, it doesn't matter. You take him to jail, you will make him bigger. That's how I feel about this. That's how I feel about taking Malema to prison. Now, in my own perspective, I feel Malema is guilty. That's how I feel. I feel Malema is guilty. I support the guy. I love the guy. But as far as the facts are concerned and what he did, my man, he is guilty, from what he did. I feel like there's just so much opportunity, though, for him to defend himself. Because also, in the judgment, the idea that when the judge makes the judgment, she takes out the security that hands him the gun. That just blew my mind. I do not understand that. Someone can give me a gun to commit a crime, right? Because this is a crime, right? Someone hands me the gun to commit a crime, and I give them back the gun that I've committed the crime with, in full view of camera. Everyone sees this happening. The person that gave me the gun is excused from the crime. Because that person knowingly gave Malema the gun with the purpose of him doing what he did with the gun. That's the court is deeming unlawful. But then they do not charge the other person who is in... it doesn't make sense. The person who's participating in the crime with him. If this is a crime, as you are saying it is. Yeah, there's just so many problems with that. They're gonna have issues, my man. I think in that there is a chance for his defense. To me, that doesn't make sense to me. That just doesn't. I try to understand, try to search as to why that would happen. I still don't understand. I do not see the point as to how does Malema get charged with the crime and the guy doesn't get charged with the crime, the one who gave him the gun. Yeah, I don't know. But them taking Malema, as I said, for me, it will backfire over a period of time. So the potential constitutional bar to parliamentary savers. Now the problems and issues that EFF might face with this going forward. His conviction carries the risk of a sentence greater than 12 months imprisonment without the option of a fine, which is a constitutional threshold. If this sentence is handed down, Malema would legally be forced to vacate his seat and would be unable to represent the EFF in Parliament, triggering a major political crisis for the party. Yeah, EFF will be in trouble if Malema gets sentenced for this. Honestly, it will be in trouble. But I feel like it will depend on how does he get sentenced. Does he get sentenced in the sense that he goes to prison, maybe serve some time, or does he get sentenced in a sense that which I think would happen? I think this is much more likely to happen, like whether he's maybe the time to be suspended so that he doesn't go to jail, or maybe he's arrested in house arrest. I don't know. But if he goes to jail, I think it's just gonna make his profile bigger. It's gonna just make even the people that were not even aligned with the EFF to actually believe, especially in the narrative of the system being against anyone who stands on it to try and challenge it. So it's gonna be more on that, and Malema will just come out as a bigger guy. That's how I feel. And then his defense too, some of the things that he said was weaponizing the racist, also claimed to frame the prosecution. I don't know, man. I thought this was just far-fetched for me. I just don't want to go too much into that. I don't think the judgments by any stretch of the imagination is actually racist. I just don't see the race implication to that. I struggle to see that, actually, because it says the judgments are racist, and following the guilty vindication in the Firearm case, Malema immediately framed the outcome as being the result of a racist judicial system and the political attack. Of course, I see that. So he used, because they've been looking for him. I mean, for the singing of the song, right? For an example, right? They've been looking for him. So political attack, of course, politics is involved. That's why I'm saying they are also making a mistake with that, to try and like convict him on the basis of politics. I think, yeah, that's in that sense, yeah. He used the acquittal of his white co-accused on the most severe charges to argue he was being unfairly targeted, turning a criminal case into a powerful political rally cry against the state. Yeah, I agree with him on that point. It doesn't make sense. The guy who gave him the gun is acquitted for the say, it doesn't make sense. I don't want to go there. That just doesn't make sense. So the continuous legal battle over hate speech and revolutionary rhetoric. Malema remains basically in multiple and high stakes legal challenges, obviously primarily from the Firearm. That's why I say the idea also that the people who are pursuing these cases and who are trying to find him guilty, taking him to court and this is Firearm. That also says a lot also, because also this brings up this question around the land, because it seems like Malema is persuaded so much to be taken to jail through all these means, you know, because he's one person and the EFF, but him as a leader of the EFF, he's one person who is literally at the top of the land question. He's pushing it, and EFF has been standing on the land question forever. As much as this is not as big anymore, like how they used to be, and not as relevant to the land question is not hitting the same, but he is one question, like one party, and one leader that has stood in the land question. You know, so this also ties that now, because the people who are pursuing him to go to prison is Firearm, and these are the people who are against anything that touches land reforms. Because they want to maintain the status quo. They want to keep the stolen land, whether they stole. They want to keep that. They want to keep everything as it is. They do not want to disturb anything that works against them and their land, that the stolen land that they have, or inherited land that that was stolen by their ancestors. They don't want anything to do with that. So I think the police arresting Malema will connect all these type of things, and it's just not. I don't think anyone is gonna win. Actually, no one is gonna enjoy that. I don't think so. Because even if South Africa doesn't burn because he's arrested, but the idea of him going to prison, I can see songs being written about him. Just like I can see this whole picture. He's gonna become a bigger person over a period of time if he's no longer there and people know he's in prison. And he's the person that has been so strong about. He's gonna become bigger, bro. I'm telling you. It's just the same thing in America when they shot Trump too. You know, doing that to a political opposition, it makes them bigger, because it makes the point that they are making bigger. People see that the person stands for something that bothers you. Actually, they somehow something is correct about them. That's why you have to use those means to take them out. I just think it's just gonna backfire for them, man. You know, when it comes to that, taking Malema to prison, bro, it's just not gonna fly, bro. That is not gonna fly, my man.